True, nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why would you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all the things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken, and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain. When once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none, passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me an insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold, and so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. No, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. It was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch off his door and opened it. Oh, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed, that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could hear him as he lay upon his bed. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously. Oh, so cautiously, cautiously. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye, and this I did for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight, but I found the eye was closed, and so it was possible to do for the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye, and every morning, when the day broke, I went boldly into the chamber, and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone, and inquiring how he had passed the night. So you see, he would have been a very profound old man indeed, to suspect that every night, just at 12, I looked upon in him while he slept. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the strength of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that I was, opening the door, little by little, I had not even to dream of my secret distant thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly, as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no, his room was as black as pitch with a thick darkness, and so I knew he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it on, steadily, steadily. I had my head in. I was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the thin fastening, and the old man sprang up in the bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed listening, just as I have done, night after night, hearkening to the death watches on the wall. Presently I heard a slight groan, and I know it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not the groan of pain or relief. Oh, no! It was the low, stiff sound that rises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has walled upon my own bosom evening, with its dreaded echo, the terror that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt, and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew he had been lying awake ever since that first slight noise, when he turned in his bed. His fears had been ever growing inside him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself, "It is nothing but a window chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor. Or is it merely a cricket which has made a single chirp?" Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with these situations, but he had found all in vain because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. It was the mournful influence on our unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, and though he neither saw nor heard me, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily until, at length, a simple dim ray, like the thread of the spider, shot from out the crevice and fell upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw with perfect distinctnness a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow of my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed a ray as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. I have not told you that what you mistake for madness is but ever acuteness of the sense? Now I say, there came to my ears a little dull, a quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloping cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of a drum simulates soldering courage. But even yet I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eve. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It would shriek quicker, and louder every instant. The old man's terrors must have been extreme. It grew louder. I say louder every moment. You mark me while I have told you that I am nervous. So am I. And now the dread hour of the night. So am it.